Welcome back to the Crypto channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and in this video, I'll be sharing exactly how you can profit in the crypto market during both bullish price action and bearish price action using long positions and short positions over on the TOOBIT crypto exchange, which by the way is completely a no KYC exchange. And if you actually use the first link below the video, you can get a massive discount on trading fees that is only available if you use that link. That is right. I've actually basically taken some of my trading fee commission from that link and given it to you guys. That's only available using that link. You can get a massive discount on your trading fees. And so without wasting your time getting into exactly how this works, first of all, this is not a sponsored video. I don't actually accept any money from any crypto company, despite the fact that many crypto companies send me offers all the time. I don't accept a single dollar from any crypto company. But of course, if you use the link below the video to actually make your TOOBIT account, of course, it is an affiliate link, which basically means the trading fees that you'll be paying anyway to a crypto exchange, a portion of those same trading fees comes to basically me, the YouTuber, or any other YouTuber that has an affiliate link, rather than 100% of the fees just going to the exchange. But I've just now made a new referral link, a new referral code, where basically you can get a massive discount on trading fees. And that discount comes out of my own effectively commission or share of the trading fees. So once again, if you sign up using this link, normally a percent would go to me, a percent would go to the exchange, but basically I'm giving up some of my percent to actually have that go back to you. So basically you get a 15% discount, effectively a 15% commission on your own trading fees coming back into your own TOOBIT account if you use the link below the video to actually make your account. So of course, if you click the link below the video, it will take you to this sign up page right here. And it's very important that the referral ID right here is 15 discount. That is the discount code right here. And of course, if you use the link below the video, it should just automatically place this in here. But 15 discount will get you 15% off all trading fees across the entire exchange. It doesn't matter if you're a VIP 0, VIP 4, it doesn't matter what your VIP level is. 15% discount on all trading fees on your TOOBIT account if you use this referral ID right here using the link below the video to actually make your TOOBIT account. And because TOOBIT is a no KYC exchange, of course, if you already have an existing account, you can simply just make a new account with a new email using that link below the video to actually get this massive fee discount that no other link or basically TOOBIT account is actually getting this discount. This is exclusive for the link below this video because I've actually just now made this link myself basically a matter of minutes ago just before recording this video. But obviously once you make your account using an email, password, or a phone number and password, obviously it takes just a matter of seconds to do, less than a minute to do that. Obviously it'll take you to this page right here, your asset summary, or perhaps over on your account dashboard. And once again, it's a no KYC exchange. So despite the fact that you can see right here, I've made plenty of trades, withdrawals, deposits, etc. on my account. I have money sitting on my TOOBIT account right now, and still to this day, after probably over a year at this point of actually trading and using TOOBIT, I'm still unverified. I haven't even completed any KYC, despite the fact that I've made plenty of withdrawals, plenty of trades, plenty of deposits over the many months, and in fact over a year at this point on TOOBIT without any KYC. And so with that out of the way, with the account setup already done here, of course, to make a deposit, you can either buy some crypto right here using a credit card or debit card, or of course you could just deposit crypto that you already have. So if you have some Bitcoin, if you have USDT, whatever, you can come over here, hit deposit, or you can come up here on the top right and hit deposit right here and simply deposit USDT, etc. All of these different crypto assets. Obviously, you could deposit any of these crypto assets. Select the network. In this case, if you're depositing Bitcoin, for example, you could deposit on the Bitcoin network, and then it will have an address right here where you just copy that address and paste it over on the other end where you're sending the crypto from. So if you're sending from another exchange or from a crypto wallet, you just paste this deposit address in where you're sending it from in the other exchange, and then you simply send it to this address. And in case you're new to all of this, in case you're new to crypto, it's very important to understand that the crypto type and the transfer network, the blockchain network, it's very important that these two are the same as what they are on the other end where you're sending it from. So for example, if you're making a withdrawal, if you click withdrawal right here on TOOBIT or some other crypto exchange, let's just say if you're withdrawing Bitcoin and then you're withdrawing on on the Bitcoin network, basically where you're withdrawing to, so where you're sending this to, let's just say, once again, if you're doing this on another exchange and then you're depositing onto TOOBIT, obviously you have to make sure that the type of crypto is the same. So Bitcoin, obviously, as you can see right here, and the transfer network also has to be the same. Obviously, if you select some other network, like in this situation, BEP20, at the same time as you're sending it from BTC, of course, you'll potentially lose that crypto. So once again, make sure both networks and types are the same if you're depositing from some other exchange. And so once you make your first deposit over on TOOBIT, obviously the amount will come into this page right here, into your asset summary, which you can simply go up here to the wallet tab and you can see the amount of crypto that you have sitting on your TOOBIT account. And for example, if I go into my spot account, you can see right here, obviously an amount of USDT, which you can use then for spot trading. So going up here to the trade tab, clicking spot, and we can see all of these different cryptos. So for example, if I go into the spot trading screen, you could see, once again, you could trade Bitcoin, you could trade all of these crypto assets. There's hundreds of crypto assets over on TOOBIT, and it's very straightforward. The spot trading, very straightforward. You can simply buy and sell. So in this situation, I have USDT available in my spot account, and if I want to buy Bitcoin, I could just click buy, click market order if I want to have that order go through straight away, or limit order if I want to buy it, let's just say, closer towards a lower price, for example, or if I want to sell some and use a limit order, then I can sell at a higher price, and if the price comes up and hits that limit order price, then that would sell at that price. Or once again, you use a market order if you just want to buy it right now at the current market price. And so that's the spot trading. It's very straightforward, very easy to do, just simple buying, selling, no leverage, no positions involved, just simple buying and selling. And of course, if we're taking a look at the futures trading, this is what I personally look at doing myself on my own TOOBIT account and other exchanges, of course. And basically my day-to-day videos, I always talk about long positions, short positions, etc. And so this futures tab is where you go to actually place long positions and short positions to basically profit either during bullish or bearish price action using longs and shorts. And so once again, if you come up here to the futures tab over on TOOBIT, you can see there's USDT M perpetual and USDC M perpetual. So basically that's just USDT margined futures and USDC margined futures. And so basically all you really need to know is you're funding the position with that certain asset. So for example, with the USDT M perpetual, you're just simply using USDT in order to open the trade, and then any profits that you potentially make out of the trade are paid in USDT. And the same story for USDT, but of course it's USDC instead of USDT. So you fund using USDC, and then any profits that you make from the trade are paid out in USDC if you use the USDC M perpetual. And so in most cases, I'll personally just use the USDT M perpetual, and that's where the majority of volume is across basically all exchanges in crypto. Almost all the volume is in USDT margined futures. But of course, if you don't really like USDT for whatever reason, you can use USDC as well. That is another option out there. And so of course, I have some assets right now in my spot account, but how do I get that over onto my futures account? Well, I can click right here, this little button, or I could just click this larger transfer button right here. So that simply transfers between the spot account and the futures account. So obviously we could select here, if you use the USDC margins futures, you can basically select to transfer USDC, of course. But in my situation, I have USDT in my spot account that I want to move to my USDT futures account. So let's just say if I want to move 1000 USDT, or I could click this max button if I want to move the whole lot, but let's just say 1000 USDT from spot into my futures account, click confirm, and immediately transferred straight into my futures account. And so let's just say if I want to open a long position, that is how I'd make money during bullish price action. So if, for example, I thought that the price of Bitcoin here is about to go towards the upside, then I would open a market or a limit order. So market order just means it goes through straight away at the current price. A limit order, in the case of a long position, means that I would place a buy order essentially to open a long position below the current price, so that if the price of Bitcoin came down towards my entry price, then I would hit the order and open the trade at that lower price. But if the price does not go down towards that price, if we just, for example, keep pumping and we do not hit the limit order price, then the trade never even opens. So keep that in mind. A limit order might not necessarily open if we don't hit the limit price here, but a market order will open straight away. So of course, the reason why you'd potentially still choose a limit order over a market order is usually limit order trading fees are slightly lower than the market order trading fees, but they are still quite similar in trading fees. And remember, if you use that first link below the video to actually make your TOOBIT account, you get a flat 15% discount across all trading fees on the exchange. And so just for time's sake, I will use market orders in this video just to have it go through straight away, so I could just show you the process of opening and closing the trade. So for example, if I go by notional value, that basically looks at the entire position size, the size of the actual trade in USDT. So usually I like to look at that when opening a trade. And so let's just say if I want to open a $5,000 trade as the total position size, and because right now I'm on 10x leverage, that's only going to cost me roughly 500 USDT. So about 500 USDT times the 10x leverage gives me about a 5,000 USDT position size. And so obviously you could go up here where it says 10x, click that, and you could change the leverage to anywhere between 1x all the way up to 200x leverage, which in my opinion is complete gambling on 200x leverage. In my opinion, honestly, anything over 100x is complete gambling, but it's completely up to you what you do with your own money. But personally, in my situation, not financial advice, I like to stick to in between 5x to 20x is roughly a range that I tend to stick to myself. Once again, you could do whatever you want to do with your own money. And of course, we could also see here isolated. So in my situation, I usually like to use isolated, but there's also cross margin. Basically, the difference is isolated means, let's just say if you get liquidated on that trade, only the trade, that one particular trade will basically get liquidated. But if you're using cross margin, it means that there might be a lower chance of liquidation because it uses assets that are also in your account that are outside of that particular position. But it also means there's potentially higher risk because if the trade moves in the wrong direction and you get liquidated on the trade, you can actually lose more than what you have just in that trade. You could potentially lose basically your entire assets in your futures account, even assets that you might not have actually put into the trade. So keep that in mind. There might be slightly higher risk on cross margin, but isolated is more basically less flexible. It's more likely that you'll potentially get liquidated if the trade moves in the wrong direction. But personally, I like isolated because in my situation, I like to just limit risk. But once again, if we're clicking open right here, clicking market if I want to open the trade right away, and simply click buy long, basically immediately you can see I'm now in a long position. So you can see right here, roughly a 5,000 USDT trade, and my margin over here, if I scroll over here, you can see my margin about 500 USDT. So once again, roughly $500 times 10x leverage is about a $5,000 trade. And currently unrealized P&L already almost $1 in profits, basically in a matter of seconds. And if I simply come over here, you could, for example, you could place take profit and stop losses over here. So position TPSL. And so just clicking this button right here, you can once again place a take profit. So in the case of a long position, a take profit would be above the current price of Bitcoin, so that if we go towards the upside, it would hit the take profit and close the trade, or potentially close part of the trade in profits if you actually have, for example, the total position or a partial take profit right here if you want to only close part of the trade. And then of course there's a stop loss, which means that will limit the losses of the trade. So you would have an order below the price in the case of a long position, so that if the price goes in the wrong direction, if you start losing money on a long position, then a stop loss basically just closes the trade at a loss, or you can actually move the stop loss into a profit if the trade moves into the profit. But essentially the stop loss just limits your downside risk in the case of a long position. And then in the case of a short position, it'll be something similar, but in the opposite direction. And you can also place a take profit and stop loss from the actual chart right here, from the trading screen right here. If you simply just drag and drop the SL, the stop loss, and place it somewhere below the price, wherever wherever you want to place it. Let's just say if I place it right there, you can see now that is an order, and you can see it's populated this amount right here as a stop loss at this price, which means if the price of Bitcoin now goes towards that price level and hits that price level, that will now close the trade at that level, which in this situation would be at a 92 USDT loss if the price went straight down towards that level and hit that order. And then of course, if I want to place a take profit, you simply drag this TP, take profit, up towards wherever you want to place it, somewhere around here, for example, and simply drop it right there. And you can see there's now a take profit sitting right there on the chart, as you can see. So of course, if the price of Bitcoin now goes up towards that level and hits that order, that now closes the trade at that level, which in that situation would be roughly a 205 USDT profit, as you can see right there. And if I want to close the trade right now, of course, I can close the trade in a limit order or a market order. Once again, a limit order in the case of a long position just means the order price I would have to set right here above the current price of Bitcoin, so that if we move towards the upside, it closes the long position at that level. Once again, slightly lower trading fees with a limit order, slightly higher trading fees with a market order. But remember, if you use the link, you get a massive discount across all trading fees. But just for the sake of this video, I'll close the trade right now with a market order. I can close basically whatever percent of the trade I want. I can close just a quarter of the trade, half of the trade, or of course the entire trade right now. So if I do that right now for this video, I close the long position because once again, I'm in a long position, as you can see right here. So I click close long, which in this situation would be a sell order, because a long position when I'm opening it is basically like buying. I'm betting the price is going towards the upside, buying long. And if I'm closing the long, then of course it's basically a sell order. So that's why the limit order would have to be above the price, would have to go towards the upside to hit the sell order. In this situation, market order, close long, and you can see basically immediately right now it has been filled and that long position is now closed. And if we come over to the position history tab, we can see obviously any positions, any trades that I previously had open. So of course, this one right here, a Bitcoin USDT futures position, obviously a long position in this situation, 10x leverage long position, now closed. As we could see when I opened it, when I closed it, the average entry price, the average close price, the max holding, all of that information, and of course the position P&L, the profit and loss. In this situation, obviously just about a 59 cents loss, at less than $1. Obviously, I'm just doing this for the sake of this video to show exactly how to open and close long positions and short positions. And so now showing you the same thing, but for a short position, to show you how you can actually profit during bearish price action. So that is right, in case you're new to all of this, yes, you can profit while the price is dumping. So obviously, if you're bearish on Bitcoin and crypto, or bearish on some other altcoin, you can actually short that crypto over here on TOOBIT using the link below the video to get cheap trading fees and actually profit during bearish price action. And so it's the same sort of thing right here. You simply open and you can go with a market order or a limit order. So once again, just for the sake of this video, I'll go with a market order to basically have it filled straight away, to open straight away. Same sort of thing if I do position size as, let's just say, the same 5,000 USDT trades. Once again, the margin required, so the amount of actual USDT I would need in this situation right here would be about $500 if I have about a $5,000 trade with 10x leverage. Or of course, if I, for example, go with 20x leverage, we could see right here it changes to 20x. If I still have a $5,000 trade, I now only need about $250 to actually open the trade, because once again, it's roughly 250 times 20x, which is about a $5,000 trade. But in case you're new to all of this, of course, the higher the leverage you go, the higher the risk. The lower the leverage, the lower the risk, but also the lower the potential returns. So if you have very high leverage, like 200x leverage, for example, there's the potential that you could make a massive return in terms of percentage, but there's also a very high risk. It basically means that the liquidation price is extremely close to your entry price the higher the leverage is, which means there's a much higher chance that you'll get liquidated and lose your money on a higher leverage. So that's why I tend to personally stick to somewhere around 10x leverage is personally where I like to stay around, somewhere around 10x, maybe 15x leverage. Once again, not financial advice, just letting you know what I usually do myself. And so if we're opening a market order, $5,000 trade, opening sell short. Remember, short position is betting that the price is going to go down. So what you're basically doing here is selling now, and then you're buying back in later. And the difference in price is, of course, your profit. So if you're able to sell, for example, one Bitcoin at, let's just say 77,000, and then buy back the Bitcoin at 76,000, essentially that $1,000 that's left over, that would be your profit in that situation. And so opening market order, $5,000 trade, sell short. We can see right now, immediately, it's now opened a short position. Once again, 20x leverage in this situation, Bitcoin short position, which means if the price goes down, I make money, but if the price goes up now, I'd actually lose money on this position. So basically getting straight out of this trade in case we start to see a bit of a bounce here. Same sort of thing. Once again, if we want to have a take profit or stop loss, we can come over here, click this little plus icon, and obviously put the numbers in here if we want to have a take profit or stop loss, or partial take profit or partial stop loss. So for example, we can close 50% of the trade at a certain level, or obviously a stop loss over here, same sort of thing once again, or we can once again place a take profit and stop loss on the chart screen here. And so remember, a short position is betting on bearish price action, which means if we have a take profit, it's to the downside below the price. So taking a take profit order right here, dragging it somewhere around here, that essentially means if the price now goes towards the downside and hits this order right here, hits this level, that would now close the trade in this situation in about a 112 USDT profit. So that is right, you can make profit while the price is dumping in the case of a short position. And then of course a stop loss would be the same thing, but in the other direction. You could drag a stop loss somewhere around here, let's just say, and then so if the price goes towards the upside, hits that level, that just closes the trade in this situation in a slight loss in order to potentially avoid further losses. And then obviously if we want to close the trade, we come back over here, click close, or we can actually go over here and just click flash close, or we could go close all. So if, for example, everything's going crazy in the market and you have a whole bunch of positions open, you can click close all, and that will just close all of the positions you have at a market order. So keep that in mind. But in this situation, once again, just closing this particular trade, close over here on the right, clicking market, and let's just say if I want to close 100% of the trade, close short, which in this situation, in the case of a short position, would be a buy order. So remember, a short position, you open it with a sell order essentially, and then you buy back in when you're closing the position. So it's the exact opposite to a long position, the exact opposite to betting on bullish price action. So once again, closing the short with a buy order, and because it's a market order, it's now been executed immediately straight away. And then of course, if I want to transfer any profits that I potentially make, obviously not right now, I haven't made profits, but in the future, if I make any trades, if I want to transfer profits or transfer my existing USDT from the futures account back to my spot account to make any withdrawals or anything like that, then I could do that. I can click this max button to transfer the entire amount from my futures account back to the spot account, click confirm, and immediately it has now been transferred back into my spot account. As you can see it right here, back up to 15,000 USDT. And then of course, if I want to withdraw this amount of USDT or any other crypto, I simply click withdraw and come over here to the withdraw page. And we can see, obviously I can withdraw USDT, I can withdraw Bitcoin or any other crypto by clicking the drop down menu, withdraw obviously on different networks. I can select the network and then place the address right here where basically you're sending this crypto to. So you go to some other exchange or some other crypto wallet, get the deposit address on that end, and then you paste it right here into this address, and that's where it's going to be sent to. And remember, I've just done all of this. I've done deposits, withdrawals, and trading in this very video on this TOOBIT account that's also still unverified. No KYC on my TOOBIT account as of right now, and it's been like that for roughly a year or so from the entire time using this TOOBIT account. And of course, there's also other things over on TOOBIT. Personally, I mainly just use the futures trading. USDT and futures is where I spend 99% of my time on TOOBIT, but of course there's other things, for example spot trading. Once again, there's all sorts of launch pads and things like that. There is also copy trading if that's something that you like to do. Personally, I don't really do it, but obviously there's also copy trading, so you could simply just click copy on one of these other traders right here and you could see their returns that they've been making over time. But obviously that's also subject to risk, so as always, do your own research. And of course there's reward centers and other things things as well that you could check out for yourself over on TOOBIT. But that's basically just showing how to profit during both bullish and bearish price action by either buying or selling on the spot market, or slightly more advanced but still fairly easy to do, longing and shorting on the futures market. And by the way, of course, you can come over here on the left hand side and there's a list of all of these different crypto assets to actually long and short if you choose to, and including not just crypto but also gold, silver, and stocks now as well as starting to be added over on TOOBIT. So you could actually trade stocks, you could trade oil, you could trade gold, you could trade all of these cryptos over on TOOBIT. And once again, if you use that first link below the video to make your TOOBIT account, you can get an exclusive 15% discount, a flat fee discount rate across all trading fees on the TOOBIT exchange. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well take advantage of that massive fee discount. And of course, it also helps support the channel because remember, a small percentage of the trading fees also comes my way, just being fully transparent about that. But I'm not being paid elsewhere to actually make this video. That's basically my incentive to make this video, just a small percentage of the trading fees that you would pay anyway to the crypto exchange. And then remember, using that link, you also get a massive kickback, 15% off on all of your trading fees go back to you into your TOOBIT account. And of course, stay up to date with my regular update videos where I share potential trading opportunities. As always, are not financial advice, but that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.